there, welcome back to Obsec Tactics. Sorry for the delay, it's been a while, but today we've got for you a very special video. We're talking about Gareth Custodes and his success on the GT tournament scene, yeah?
Yeah, so I've been taking mostly Custodes with a little bit of Scion soup, but been taking it to a lot of tournaments, getting positive results. Only won one tournament, but it's getting there.
You've been to Pompey Pillage and went 4-1. You went to Kent War Games and went 4-2. You went to the Hellstorm Wargaming event and went 4-2. And then Borden Brum and went 3-0, winning that one, yeah?
Yeah.
Brilliant. And put yourself a very nice picture of...
Yeah, as soon as I got home, there was a beer in that.
Good. I bloody well earned, I should think. Yeah, nice one. So, without further ado, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about what Gareth's current list is. And then we're going to talk about, particular matches he's come up against, how he's done at the tournaments, and then also the evolution from where you started with your Custodes tournament list and how we got to where it is now. Yeah,
so where do you want to start, really?
Okay, so why don't we start with your actual list? What have we got at the moment?
So currently we've got 2 patrols. We've got a Shadowkeeper's patrol with Trajan Valorous, 2 units of 4 Sagittarium Guard with Misericordias. So important to have those daggers on them. 3 points for an extra attack and make all your attacks AP2.
Just from the 3-point daggers?
Yeah.
Oh,
because normally they don't have a combat weapon.
Right.
2 Achilles Dreadnoughts with a pair of Adriatic Destructors on them. A unit of 5 Venatari and 2 Caladius with the Iliastus. Then a second patrol with Kyria Draxus with her Warlord trait. The Warlord is a Tempestus Scion with CP regen. So Kurov's Aquila, Grand Strategist. A Melter Gun Command Squad. And 3 units of Scions. The Scions are Iotan Gorgons, which gives them a 1 command point 5-inch deep strike stratagem.
Oh, very nice.
Which it basically fixes the problems that Custodes have with doing actions. Being able to get a 5-inch deep strike is so hard for people to screen out things like Octarius data.
Yeah. And
having a cheap unit that can do banners is just so much easier
than having to spend such a unit from such an elite army to do it. Yeah.
Like when my cheapest unit is a 200-point unit of Sagittarium Guard.
Yeah. Yeah. Fair enough.
And all of the Custodes are Shadowkeepers as they're painted here, so they get the 1 command point -1 strength against that unit for the rest of the phase.
That sounds cool. Sounds tasty. So throughout all your success here, and you have had a lot of it, and that's awesome. We all know that you learn the most when you lose.
Yeah.
So what would you say were the matches that you really learnt the most from?
Oh, definitely the 2 matchups I got stomped the most. So both of these were at the Hellstorm Wargaming tournament. The first one I'll talk about is against Matt Robertson. He's very well known among the tournament scene. Mm-hmm. He was playing a Sisters of Battle, and at the time he was on a 51 game win streak with his Sisters of Battle.
Bloody hell.
Yeah. And it's a crazy good list. We were playing the Battle Lines mission, which isn't great for Custodes because it's just the 4 objectives and you're fighting over the middle.
Okay. So I know it's a lot to ask. Can you remember what the kind of theme of his list?
Yeah, well, he had 3 units of Repentia, 2 units of Sacrosanct, Morven Val, the Dogmata to give Obsec.
So nothing too surprising then.
Celestine, some Dominions, some Retributors.
Right, okay.
But being able to bodyguard chain out the Celestine from behind obscuring with the Sacrosancts, and Celestine was 8 inches away on an objective, but I still couldn't target her because of the bodyguard rule. And then because she gets that 6-inch heroic intervention, I could do nothing about that objective because he already used his melters to kill my 2 dreadnoughts, which would have been the only way to really kill Celestine in that matchup.
Right. Okay, then anything else notable happening in that game?
Don't charge Repentia. Their fight on death stratagem, whatever you kill them with, they will kill you back. They're insanely insanely good at trading up.
Right.
They hit on 4s, full rerolls to hit, and if Custodes don't have that 2 command points to say no to rerolls, and then they get the +1 to wound at strength 6, and they're wounding on 2s.
Scary stuff. Really scary.
They're nasty. But I did manage to learn that very quickly from a previous Sisters matchup, that if you're going to kill the Repentia, you shoot them. So part of why the Sagittarium are actually in the list, because they're really good at killing Repentia.
Okay, just for that alone.
Yeah, well, each one gets an assault version of a heavy bolter.
It's really nice, isn't it? It's really nice. And so, what would you think you'd do differently if you were to play him again with the same list?
With the same list, I was talking to him after the game that one of the things I should have done was deep strike my Venatari. I put them on the table to kind of bait the Celestine coming out, not expecting to lose a full unit of Venatari to his Melters.
Right.
Dice rolls are dice rolls. If you can't make a 4-up save, Custodes die.
Harkrin's just the same.
Yeah. But like I say, I deep strike the Venatari because that forces him to hold the backfield more rather than being able to come towards me.
Okay.
And if he comes towards me like he did, the Venatari can get rid of a unit of Sacrosancts, no problem. At which point then I can start targeting the characters.
Yeah.
Which means Celestine becomes less of a problem.
Okay. Sounds like a fun game. It sounds like you learnt a lot, which is the whole point.
He's an incredibly good player.
Mm-hmm. Nice guy too.
Diamond of a guy.
Oh, yeah. Wonderful.
Like everyone that I've played over these tournaments has been incredibly friendly. We've been laughing, joking while playing. There's been chess clocks involved and no one's cared because we're just playing and having a laugh.
Good sportsmanship.
Yeah.
Brilliant. That's what I like to hear. Are there any other games that you've learned from?
Yeah, again, at the Hellstorm, it was against Dick Vanderhaast with his Necrons. Pre-game, I thought I had the matchup.
We should probably say that he's the best Necron player in Europe currently. Is that correct?
From the ITC rankings, I believe so. Yeah.
So you should know how to pick them.
Yeah. Well, day one I'd gone 3-0, and then Matt was round 4. And Dick was round 5.
Okay.
So back-to-back stonking games.
Awesome.
But yeah, I thought I had the output to kill his warriors and then kill his wraiths. But his reanimation and his saves, and I picked the secondaries wrong in that mission because we were playing sweep and clear. Mm-hmm. I took direct assault domination. I should have taken Engage in All Fronts Altarius.
Right.
Because I could have spread out and just given him the middle with his 40 warriors.
Yeah.
But like I say, I got cocky. I thought I had the output to kill 20 warriors. I got 15 points on Thin Their Ranks and didn't kill a unit of warriors because of the amount of reanimation he was doing.
Wow. Wow. And anything particularly interesting about his list?
Well, I'd never seen anyone consider using a Canoptic Reanimator until him.
Blimey. You don't see those around much.
No. He was running 2 command barges, 40 warriors, so 2 res orbs, and the...
Only 40? Just 14?
Yep, just 2 units of 20.
Any immortals?
No immortals.
So that was his infantry? Just
Yeah. He had 2 Chronomancers to give him 5-up invulns. He had the Reanimator to give him the 4-up Reanimate, which he could switch which unit it was on for 2 command points.
Mm-hmm.
The Res Orbs to have them reanimate in the command phase as well and steal objectives. It was just so hard to chew through.
Damn.
Yeah,
I'm surprised. I can't get over that Reanimators. I thought they were... Well, I think everyone thinks they're kind of widely considered trash, or at least they have been.
Yeah, at least... from the conversations I've had with people until I met Dick, and he knows how to play his army.
Yeah, that's good. And again, nice guy.
Yeah, amazing guy.
Brilliant.
I actually spent the weekend in the hotel with him. He travelled over, and yeah, we had a lovely time going out for dinner and drinks and in between days. And
respect to you, Dick. And then if you could have done anything different, I mean, you've already talked about your secondaries, how you'd have given him the middle, gone for engage and stuff like that.
Yeah, if I'd have gone engage and Octarius, I think I'd have definitely scored more points. And I would have been less focused on killing the warriors. And the first thing I'd have gotten rid of would be the wraiths. Because as we got into turns 3 and 4, 5, the wraiths were the problem, not the warriors.
Right. Because of their damage potential, or just kind of harassment, or?
Oh, well, because he had Obsec on all of them. And so one of the advantages that Custodes have over some armies is that all of their infantry is Obsec.
Mm-hmm.
But against the all Obsec Necron list, those wraiths are 3 wounds each with a 4-up invuln, so same defensive profile as me, and then they get reanimate as well.
So, okay, time to bear all. What was the score in both those games?
Against Matt, I lost 82 to 66.
That's respectable.
Yeah, I mean, it's still a 20-point loss, well, close to, but...
Against the guy who's on a what? Well, 52 at least now.
Yeah, well,
win streak.
Yeah, and he is an incredible player.
Mm-hmm.
Like I say, he's very well known amongst the community. And against Dick, that was a stomping. He got 100 points, I got 51.
Ooh, that is a stomping. Do you remember what secondaries he took?
Dick, he took direct assault, domination, so stranglehold.
Yeah.
And he took the Necron secondary, Code of Combat.
See, I really like this one. I rave about this all the time.
So what he was doing was he'd thin a unit down with his warriors, or his wraiths, but not kill it.
Yeah.
And then he'd just finish it off with the command barge.
Mop it up. Yeah.
And he was like, sometimes he was getting 6 points.
Yeah.
Like, he was saying to me that over the weekend he hadn't lost a full unit of warriors, and he'd scored 15 on his Code of Combat, like every game he took it.
Yeah, I believe it. Because it really lends itself to the meta at the moment, where so many people are running, like here, the multiple small units.
Yeah, just loads of MSU.
Like, it feeds off that.
Or little like tax units, or little disposable units that you use for actions, things like servitors and like my scions.
Yeah. Okay, so what we're going to talk about now is the evolution of your list from initial conception when you first started planning for tournaments. I know you were a big player of the tabletop simulator game.
Yep.
How your Custodes list started, and then the changes you made according to the meta up until now.
Yeah, well, first things, like, I've kind of since conception had the scions in there. There were a couple of weeks right at the beginning where I was thinking pure Custodes, but the scions fix so much for the Custodes right now.
And does this? I guess this kind of stems from the old Loyal 32 in a way.
In a sense. So you get the CP regen from the commander, and the Iotan Gorgons getting that 5-inch deep strike with little units of 5 on 25mm bases. So hard for your opponent to screen them out. Like before Octarius data got changed from what it was before, like those 3 units.
Is it scramblers?
Yeah,
it used to be scramblers.
Yeah. Before it became Octarius data, when it was scramblers, that would just be 10 points every game. Because deployment zone, no man's land, deployment zone was so easy for them. But Octarius data is slightly harder to do with them. But then I generally found that the Venatari, they do really good output in the first couple of turns, and then your opponent will target them, and hopefully there's like 1, maybe 2 models left at like turn 4, and then you'll just go do the last Octarius with them.
Sure.
But yeah, I started out with the Dreadnoughts as
Seven, wasn't it?
Yes, there were 7. It very swiftly went down to 5, so I could fit the Venatari. And then the FAQ dropped, where Telemons went up by 20 points each.
That's a lot. That's a hell of a lot.
And I was really fighting for the Telemons to stay. Then Admech dropped, and Lucius was everywhere.
Yeah, teleporting Iron Striders, right?
It wasn't even that. It was the fact that unless you're bringing damage 2, you just have to weather the fact that they're going to be on 3 and 2 up saves.
Right. Okay.
So I looked through the Custode book and the Forgeworld book to see how much damage 2 I can fit in a list. This is slightly lower than the point where I had got it to, because I had got it to 96 damage 2 or more shots a turn.
Fair enough.
But this is still fairly hefty on the damage 2, because each of the Caladius gets 8 shots at damage 2. The Venatari get 20. Each of the Dreadnoughts get 6 shots at damage 3. And then each of the Sagittarium units get 12 shots at damage 2 and 4 shots at damage 3. Right. So you really start cooking with gas when you're going into those Space Marine matchups where they're all running 2 wound intercessors, and it's all got AP, because it's all the bolters on them are AP1, the Venatari are AP2, the Iliastus are AP3.
So, I mean, to someone who's definitely not a competitive player, it would seem to me that maybe this army would struggle against a Death Guard list where you've got that damage reduction one across the army.
You'd think so.
Right. So how do you overcome something like that?
For one, I massively outranged the Death Guard.
Okay.
And I had a couple of Death Guard matchups in the tournaments, but this list kills 40 to 60 Poxwalkers turn 1. And now the Death Guard player has no Obsec left. And I'm running a list that gains Obsec.
Right.
All I have to do is stay outside of 18 or just at the edge of 18 from my opponent. Death Strads are only move 5. So they can't charge me after moving 5 if I'm 18 inches away.
Right.
So I just outrange them
and no problems with them deep striking down and firing out of cover with the Blight Haulers and stuff like that?
I had a match up against Shooty Death Guard with the Contemptors and stuff, which that really hurt. But I was able to come out of it again by get rid of the Poxwalkers first. And then the Scion Command Squad really helps in that matchup actually. Because with the 5-inch Deep Strike and then Vengeance of Acadia, so an 80-point unit for 2 command points, kills a Plague Burst Crawler on average.
Crikey.
Because you're Deep Striking at half range with Melter Guns, and then they get Exploding 6 to hit, and Vengeance of Acadia gives you full rerolls to hit, full rerolls to wound.
They'll have their vengeance by the sounds of it.
Yeah.
So, okay, we've gone from then, your Telemon heavy list and then into this. How do you think your list is going to change going forward? Obviously, we've had, fresh off the press a couple of days ago, we had the FAQs for Grey Knights and Thousand Suns.
Yeah.
Orcs have been doing, definitely not badly.
The Orc buggy list destroys this.
Does it? Okay.
Yeah.
We'll keep that quiet. We'll edit that out.
No, the Orc buggy list, I've been practicing against a friend that uses them. And honestly, I'm actually thinking of switching to Grey Knights just to beat it. But if I was to stick with the Custodes throughout the rest of this season, which I am very tempted to do, I'd probably actually... Well, first things first is I take the Inquisitor out. Because you can't have just a single Inquisitor into the Thousand Sun matchup.
Yeah. Their secondary, if no one's familiar, is... was it kill more in the psychic phase than your opponent?
Kill more models, yeah. And when you've only got one psyker that knows Smite.
Yeah. So auto 15 for your opponent. Yeah.
But also having the psyker means I can't take a boar into those matchups. Which means, which means there's 15 points that I can't get.
Sure.
And honestly, into like 1,000 Suns, Grey Knight, and Orc buggy meta, I'm actually thinking of going back to Dreadnoughts.
Really?
Yeah, so the Custode vehicles get a 1 CP strat to ignore mortal wounds on a 5. They get the -1 damage, and they're reasonably tough that they can actually tank the buggies for a turn or two.
Those buggies are.
Yeah.
They're gross. I'm really surprised they didn't go up in points.
Yeah, I'd like to see some sort of changes to the buggies in the sense, but at the moment it is what it is, and I have to learn to deal with them. But I think going back to more Dreadnoughts into the buggies is probably better now that we're starting to see less AdMech because of the buggies.
Sure.
And I don't think I could leave home without the Venatari right now. It would be so tempting because of buggies and 1,000 Suns just to go 7 Dreadnoughts again. But those Venatari do so much work.
And how much, like, in a ratio to Dreadnought, would they cost you? 1 Dreadnought?
The Venatari are about the same cost. There's like 10 points in it to a Telemon.
Okay, so you could still have 6 maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking 2 Telemons, 3 Spear Dreadnoughts, and a unit of Venatari, but that's kind of going backwards in the evolution because those units are better into certain metas.
Sure.
But that's one of the things I love about Custodes is thanks to their Forge World book, they've got such a deep wealth of units they can use that they can adapt to any kind of meta. Yeah. But the current Psychic meta that I can see coming forward is probably their hardest time yet.
Yeah, you think they're going to struggle with that?
Yeah, well, they only get a 6-up Feel No Pain in the Psychic phase.
Right. Okay then. Well, I think that's going to wrap it up for today. I think that's been it's great to hear about your success, and you've got your trophies, and just to add in on the end, nominated 4 times for Best Painted Army.
Yeah, across 4 different tournaments.
Yeah,
I didn't win any of them, but every time people have loved my army and they've decided to nominate it at least once for the Best Painted.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully I'll have some shots for you just panning across so you can see. They've got this really nice cherry red glaze to them. Works really well with like the gold, the dark greys. It's spot on, mate.
Yeah.
Looks mint. But yeah, we'll have hopefully more videos for you soon. Hope you enjoyed it. Something a little bit different, delving into the competitive scene and stuff like that. And then as always, from me
and me,
and of course Big E, who's up here somewhere out of shot today, so we can show you this lovely army. We will see you later.